Wasn't Russia invading Crimea 2014 an act of imperialism? First of all, I'm going to answer that one right now. Just right now, Austin. Right? I'm going to put that on the screen. We're going to talk about that. Because first of all, Austin, first thing, act of imperialism. Imperialism is not a verb. Imperialism is not a policy. Imperialism is an economic system. It is capitalism in its monopoly stage. So one country sending troops to another country, one country taking territory from another country is not imperialism. Imperialism is a system. Imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism. It is an economic relationship. It is finance capital, carving out the world, the emergence of cartels, trusts, and syndicates, carving out spheres of influence, holding back economic development around the world. Imperialism is an economic system. It's not a policy. That's the first part you're wrong about. Second thing you're wrong about. Russia did not invade Crimea. I have actually been to Crimea. I have seen this with my own eyes. Crimea is a peninsula. It is a peninsula that has been considered part of Russia for thousands of years. Okay? And for some reason, in 1954, after Stalin died, they gave it to Ukraine. It had been considered part of the Russian Soviet Republic, but then for some reason, Stalin died and Khrushchev came to power and he signed it over to Ukraine, and no one knows why. But they were all part of the Soviet Union back then anyway, so it doesn't matter anyway. It didn't matter, right? But then the Soviet Union fell. And when the Soviet Union fell, Ukraine and Russia signed a treaty. And that treaty said that Ukraine gets Crimea, but Russia gets to have a big, huge military base in Crimea. And that was how it was. Crimea was technically part of Ukraine, but Russia had a big, huge military base there. And the overwhelming majority of people in Crimea were people who worked at this Russian military base, people who spoke Russian, people who considered themselves to be Russian, people who worked at a store that sold, stuff primarily to people who worked at the military base, people who live in a town like Yalta. I mean, it was all of Crimea is basically centered around Russian stuff, Russian businesses, Russian stores, Russian military base, big, huge Russian military base. Crimea it was part of Ukraine, but there was a big, huge Russian military base there, a bunch of people there that consider themselves to be Russian. And that was a good arrangement, right? And Ukraine was happy with that, and Russia was happy with that. But then in 2014, Barack Obama overthrew the government of Ukraine, and the Kiev government was toppled by the United States. The USA started supporting and destabilizing Kiev, and there was Euromaidan, and the government of Ukraine was toppled, and a fanatically anti-Russian government was brought to power. The government in Kiev, the fanatical ultra-nationalists took power in Kiev. Those forces took power, and immediately all kinds of people in the eastern regions of Ukraine said, no, 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 no. They saw these people tearing down World War II memorials. They saw these people, talking about outlawing the Russian language. And they said, no, 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 no. We're not going to this isn't going to happen. So in the eastern regions, there were separatists, and they called them separatists. The Novorossiya independent republics were formed, and all of that. And in Crimea, where this big, huge Russian military base is, there started to be some alarm bells. Why? Because all these people at the big, huge Russian military base and all these people that do business with Russian businesses and Russian military bases said, oh, shit. Now we have this fanatically anti-Russian government based in Kiev. Now they might kick out this Russian military base and we might lose all of our jobs, and that might not be good. And so the people in Crimea, in response to the USA overthrowing the Ukrainian government, Yukhanovich was the elected leader. He was toppled. In response to that, the people living in Crimea voted. They had a referendum, and they voted overwhelmingly to join with Russia. And then Russia said, okay, we'll take you. And that's how Crimea joined with Russia. So, first of all, you don't know what imperialism is. Imperialism is a system. It's not an act, number one. Number two, this idea that Putin was sitting up there on his throne, and he said, these people of Crimea have freedom, and I hate freedom, and we shall roll the tanks over the border and crush their songs of peace. I am expanding my empire because I am an evil authoritarian trying to conquer the world. Crimea shall be mine. That never happened. That never happened. That's not what happened at all. The Russian military was already there. And the people living there who are part of the Russian military and have businesses that are tied in with the Russian military voted, and they joined. They joined with Russia. That's not what happened. That is not what happened. So this idea that there is a Russian invasion of Crimea and it's this diabolical act of conquest is a bunch of malarkey. It's a bunch of malarkey. It